so wonderful to be here. Anytime I can participate in anything at Rider University, it's a lot to my heart. And you hear where I ended up, right? I'm teaching at a university that I went to. Lifelong dream. But it didn't start that way. And my goal here today is to share with you that it doesn't matter what struggle you're going through or go through, whether the obstacles be short or long, that you never give up. Kudos to everybody here and what you've been through in the last year, 2 years. If you're just coming into school, great. If you were here last year, amazing. This will be something that you'll never forget, and your resilience already is incredible. And thank you for showing up to participate in this. So what you see before you is a result of dreams that were awoken, right? That were once lost. So to end up where I ended up is not a story that's for everybody or that everyone has the same journey, but I want you to take something out of it about that you just don't have to give up. The goals may seem unobtainable, insurmountable. You'll come to places in your life that you'll say, no way, forget it. It doesn't mean you have to do it tonight, but don't give up. So my journey started in 1979. I came to Rider as an undergraduate, first person in my family ever to go to college. So what did that mean? No one told me about college. I didn't understand what it was like to live alone and live on my own and make grown-up decisions at the age of 17. I just didn't get it. So I didn't have that background where people could share with me what I would experience, and a lot of it I went through on my own. Did very well, had a great time in college, went through, ended up on a 5-year program. I had to take a little time off for financial reasons, joined a fraternity, had a great fraternity, Greek life on campus. Everything was going just beautifully. First semester of my college career, not so good. Last semester of my college career, not so good. So I happened to be enrolled in what's now called information technology. That was my major. I had one course that I had to take that's in your major. And as you all know, in your major, you got to have a C, right? You can't have a D or you got to take it over. Well, D is for Ducket, and that's what I got. I ended up, and it's now spring of '84, and there's no way I can walk. So I was like, oh, man. And, of course, every one of my family's counting on me, right? Because I'm the first one. This is it. Well, there's one thing to do. Take it in summer, move on, get the degree, let's go. Everything I had learned up to that point in Rider was so invaluable. I always wanted this school because of its credibility, because of the business school. And everything that I learned ended me with a job that they told me, we're going to hire you, just go get your degree, and then my career took off. So I was a programmer. A year later, I got into a major accident. Fell asleep, hit a tree at 50 miles an hour. Broke just about every bone you can have. Didn't give up. Said, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to move on. Got there, 1985. Got married. 1987. You see how the years are clicking? Now, what didn't happen was my degree. So I kept thinking, oh, my goodness, I got to get this. Because you know when something eats at you, right? Everyone else can think it's fine. Everyone thinks the outside, the shell is good. But inside, there was something I wanted. And it would be so easy at this point because I then now had my own company, team of software consultants, making great money, careers taking off. Why would I? What do I need it for? Because I wanted it. So some of these decisions that you make on never giving up is about what's inside of you that you really want to obtain. So it's your personal choices and your personal dreams and goals that you don't give up on. So in the back of my mind, in my conscious, in my subconscious, like I got to get this degree. Then a monumental event happened. And this is very important for you to remember this piece of it. My first daughter was born. February 12th, 1987. The first thing I said to her, first I wanted a boy. I wanted all boys. I got 4 girls. So I looked at her and I said, one thing is for sure, I'm getting my degree before you. Like, that came to me in that moment. It meant so much to me. I knew she was going to go to college, and I was like, well, one thing's going to happen, because now, you know, there's no way out of that promise, right? But what happens is, even the fact that I didn't give up, it didn't mean that it was going to happen overnight. when you go through struggles, there are things that can actually paralyze you, right? Fear of success is as great as fear of failure. And so I'm thinking how I'm going to do this. Now I have another kid. Now I have 3 girls. Now my business takes off. Then I get acquired and I merge with a company that I start becoming like the top sales guy in the organization. And so there's really no looking back. House, car, white picket fence, everything looks good on the outside, except what was going on the inside. I didn't want to give up that dream. Then some things started to happen at work that started to make me realize, man, this is really important for me. One of them was I wanted to get to the executive table. And my path to the executive table was Ryder's MBA. Not anyone's MBA, Ryder's. I wanted to go here, I wanted to get my MBA, and I wanted to be treated and be an executive at the table. There's only one problem with that. What do you think it was? I didn't have my undergraduate degree. You can't really get an MBA unless you have an undergraduate degree. So I thought, oh my goodness, well, all right, that dream's a little off. Let me hold on. And the clock is ticking, right? So my daughter gets into high school. The clock is ticking. And I'm like, oh my goodness, all right, I got to figure this out. Now, what I really want to tell you about don't ever give up is you start becoming in a position where it seems like it's too big. Like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to go in, get this degree? How am I going to go in? And here's the kicker. My daughter gets into Arizona State University. Now I got 4 years left. Now she's a junior. Now I got 2 years. You see what's happening? But inside of me, I never gave up. But the thing that I struggled with through that whole time between high school and when I finally took that first step back on campus is, what am I going to tell everyone? Everyone thinks I got a degree. You know, no one asked after the first job, right? So I had my own company, and it was all based on credibility and my performance and my success. So no one actually made me show a piece of paper. But I knew it, and it was a horrible feeling. I never lied. I just said, went to Ryder. I didn't even put down a degree. And I was like, okay, went to Ryder. So now I've got to go tell my CEO that I don't have a college degree. And I want to be an executive. That was probably the hardest moment of my life because I had to fully bear myself. And I went in with the expectation that I'd be fired, right? I couldn't get around it anymore. Like if I was going to do this, I couldn't sneak around it. I had to come clean, and I had to have the support of my company, of my family. So I walked into the CEO's office, understanding that if this, this could be it. And I said, here's a scoop. Never got that degree. There was one course. It just, life happened. Here I am 20 some odd years later, and I want to go get my MBA, but I got to go get that undergraduate degree first. His response? I admire your honesty. Okay, see how the fear could have kept me paralyzed and said, I'm not willing to confront or go into this conflict with my CEO on the chance that I would lose this incredible job where I make great money, and that could have kept me stuck, paralyzed, and give up. But I decided if my intentions are to get this degree and move on, I can't give up now. And the obstacle that's in front of me, I can't go around it. Got to go through it. And it's sometimes tough to take that step, but once you do, you'd be amazed what happens. So I get on camp, so that happens. 2 years. And now I'm just want to check the time. So now I decide, all right, we did it. They're on board. They say, go get it, go, go, go. So I skip on to campus. I've been a Ryder before. I come in there. I said, oh, I guess I better go to the continuing study students because I'm not really a full-time student anymore. So I waltz in. Hello, I'm Mario. You know me, right? Like I haven't been on campus in God knows how long, but everybody knows me. So I went to an advisor, and I said, here's the scoop. Here, I'm telling her what we're going to do. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take this one course. I'm going to ace it. I'm going to get my degree, and then I want to go get an MBA. So she said, no problem. Let me pull up your transcript. It was printed on stone. No, I'm just kidding. So she pulls up the transcript, and I'll never forget these expressions. She went, oh, And I'm thinking, that's not good. And she said to me, quite honestly, I think you should try and go get your degree somewhere else. You know why? I was in the information technology major. It was greater than 10 years, and I lost all my credits. Can you imagine what I felt like in that moment? Everything that I thought would happen did not. I now was faced with a challenge, and it would have been real easy, but there was something. I wanted my degree from Rider. I came here, I went, and I wanted my degree here. I didn't want to go somewhere else. I didn't want to try to do anything else. So when you're in that moment, and there is no, I hit the roadblock, right? That's it. She's like, no, you're not taking 3 credits and graduating. It would be a whole different ball game. So I sat there, and instead of walking out and kicking rocks, I asked her, well, what can we do? What can I do to get a degree at Rider? She said, well, we could flip some of the electives over to, do you mind getting a liberal arts degree? I said, I could care less what degree. Just let me get a degree, because it's irrelevant at this point. She says, okay, I think we can keep like 70 credits. And I had 2 years. I took every night school, weekend class, online class, and summer session for 2 years, nonstop. And when I would do the same thing with the professors that I did with my CEO, I would tell them what my situation was. You know, always communicate. When you're having problems, don't give up. Talk to somebody. Talk to a professor. Engage your advisor. Find an alumni. Talk to somebody. So instead of keeping quiet and struggling that I'm trying to work, I'm trying, put kids through college, I'm trying to take these courses, I don't know how I could do it, but I would talk to people, and they actually helped me. I had a professor let me do a research project on computer AI that I got credits for. Like, people started to rally around me because they knew I wanted to do this. I will give you an anecdote. My very first class, Monday night, 6 p.m. or whenever it is, 6:45? It's 6:30. It was 6:45, right? So Erica Rubine, American history. Course, why? I don't know, because I needed credits. So I go to class. I know, well, I'm getting up front because, I'm a new student now. Like, I'm brand new. I'm going to the front of the class instead of to the back. So I sit down in the very first row right in front of that teacher. I pop open my hardcover textbook. I open my notebook, and I'm talking about a notebook with paper and the spiral and 5 different colors of highlighters, because that's how I went to school. And I turned around, and everyone had a laptop. And I said, not only am I old, I'm ancient. So that was my experience in the class. Turned out to be great. I keep grinding. And here we go. It was a Thursday, I'll say May 15th. I don't remember the exact date, 2009. I walked down the aisle, got my degree, and my daughter graduated the next day. I held that promise. I never gave up. So what I didn't know, and what you should realize, if you don't get through the not giving up, you may not realize what's on the other side. Because I didn't know I wanted to teach. I just wanted to beat this girl in college, right? I'm like, because that's just embarrassing. That's what it came down to me. So I beat her. Okay, she's good. And I was like, let me go get my MBA, because now I'll be taken more seriously. And it worked, right? Rider's executive MBA for me, because I was older and I was working, was a magical fit, right? So I was able to get in, and what I didn't know about the business world was so important. So regardless of your major, the other business courses that you take are so important and relevant. I didn't know I wanted to do projects because they were fun. I didn't know you should do projects because they should have a return on what you spend and give you a return on your investment. I learned accounting, finance, HR. All those courses became important when you are invited to the executive table and you have input to the direction of the company. You need to understand all facets of business, not just your major. So that's why I wanted to go get my MBA. So this time I had a different walk into the MBA. I went to admissions, And I went to meet with John Farrell at the time. And I said, hey, I want to take an MBA. I don't know how I'm going to do it because it's daytime and nighttime. He goes, no, no, no. Go over to the executive MBA. That program was built for you. So I get there, love it, get through it, graduate in 2011. I thought that was it. That was a dream. My career took off again from an executive perspective, right? I'm respected, and I will tell you at the end, coming out of business school and having a degree in business is great, and then MBA is even better, right? It just gets you to the table. Whether you do it now or later, remember, if you want something, never give up. So I didn't give up, but I didn't know what was coming next. And what was coming next, you see I have a real big problem talking in front of people, very shy, feel it? So I thought, you know, I want to give back to Ryder. Like, it meant so much to me. Like, it really meant so much to me that I want to give back to this university in any way I could. So as Gene said, early on I would get involved with everything. And Ron knows if they needed someone to recruit, like someone, or do an interview with someone as a prospective person for the MBA program, they would send them my way and they called me the closer because I would sell them. I'm like, this is the program, just sign up, don't worry about it, let's go. So that started to like bubble up inside of me. I was like, wonder if I could do more. So I asked, they says, you know, it'd be great for our technology class. It'd be great to have someone who's actually working in the field because then we, you know, technology is perishable, right? We know that. It changes every year, right? New acronyms come out every week. What we know today won't even be around in 10 years. So they said, why don't you be an executive in residence? And I thought, wow, that's really cool. So I was the guy who came in from the field to assist the professor who was teaching the class in the core class in the EMBA. And then one thing led to another, and the professor had to move to Florida, and they asked me to teach. Didn't even see it coming. Been the greatest experience of my life. So I teach on Saturdays, one time a year, in the executive MBA, each cohort, and the technology issues, and I really focus on technology issues in the workplace. Boy, did that light a fire, right? Like, I want to do more. I'm on just about every committee I can be in at Ryder. I want to teach. I'm involved with the programs. I tell everybody what a great school this is. You should be proud that you're in this school because of the reputation it has out on the street, right? And you should be proud and take as much out of this as you can. But you're all going to hit a point where something's going to come up where you're going to feel like giving up. And I'm sure in this current craziness we went through, we've had a lot of those thoughts. Like, is this worth it? Don't give up. Because the real story is I made a promise to myself, not to anyone else. I didn't give up. The real story is I found a solution to the problem. Because you have two choices when you look at a flat tire. You can kick it or you can change it. And I found a solution of how I could get to where I wanted to go. The MBA was the goal. My journey was all the things I had to do to get there and not giving up at any one of those steps. The blessing was I ended up becoming a professor. The funny part is, this past Saturday, I was with 7 of my fraternity brothers from the 80s. And if you ever meet any of them, anything they tell you about me is not true. So just remember that. And so we're sitting around talking, and they were just so proud of me. They were so proud and hugging and like, we can't believe like how far you come. Because at first it was laughable, right? They were like, you're a professor? You? The guy we knew in college who didn't even, you're a professor at Ryder. And it was like a joke. And then they were like, no, seriously. So proud. And it's good to have that feeling. And then I was telling them about the talk tonight. And it's just an amazing experience. So what I want to share with you is no one's path is like this, right? That's too easy. Figuring that out is no problem. You're going to hit, and I hit some very, very dark moments in my life, didn't give up. I had some very confusing moments in my life, I didn't give up. I had some like, what am I going to do moments? This is impossible. I didn't give up. So when you hit those spots, just remember, you don't have to solve it that night, because that's where we stop. If I can't figure it out tonight, I'm done. Think about it. From 1984 to 2007, I struggled with never giving up, and I didn't. And so if I can leave anything with you, no matter what you're going through, personally, in your academic careers, throughout your stay at Rider. Just don't give up. Thank you.